Dead body found at Walmart construction site on County Road 466. Officials want to review excessive use of guest passes in the villages. Villager airlifted after knocked from golf cart in collision with a car. Court documents disclose sale price of the village's health. Seacoast wins regulatory approval for acquisition of the Citizens Bank. Villages sinking $50.4 million into downtown Middleton. Golf cart driver off track driving his golf cart into the grocery store. We have video. How many holes in ones of golf do we get this week? Letters to the editor. This and more coming up. We have a grim story leading off the news this week. The Lady Lake Police Department responded at about 2 p.m. Thursday to a call from construction crews who discovered a body lying in the tall grass at a construction site that has yet to be developed at the corner of 466 and County Road 100, which is Cherry Lake Road. It is near the site of the new Walmart store. Upon arrival, officers confirmed the presence of a deceased person in advanced stages of decomposition. The body has not yet been identified. The scene has been secured and the Lake County Sheriff's Office Crime Scene Unit is providing technical support to the Lady Lake Criminal Investigation Unit. State Medical Examiner has been contacted and will be an integral part of the ongoing investigation. Sad. Excessive use of the village's guest passes sparked discussion at a meeting Wednesday of the Amenity Authority Committee. A review recommending revised fees and operating policies related to recreation, community watch, and facilities in the villages is scheduled for completion this fall. The review will recommend additional ways to offset operating and maintenance costs. Staff will present a proposed change at an AAC workshop on November the 12th before final adoption December 10th by the Villages Center Community Development District after a public hearing. The AAC authorized advertising to announce the intent to make the changes. The committee is responsible for amenity services north of County Road 466. But one committee member wants those changes to go deeper. James Vaccaro said a man who operates an Airbnb told him that he has applied for hundreds of guest passes for those who stay here. Vaccaro suggested that a $10 fee per pass might be affordable for residents who have a few guests a year, but more difficult for Airbnb operators. I personally think Airbnb in the villages ought to be stopped. My opinion. I don't think we should be subsidizing anyone to use our facilities. AAC Chairman Don Kempo disagreed. I think we need to address it in a different way. Some operators of rental homes apparently pay a flat fee of $50 for guests. That's what I pay, but I rented my home out one time a year, 3 months in the winter. That was it. So all I really needed at the most is probably two. And the $50 isn't for guests. The $50 is for transferring your residential rights over to whoever's renting your home, because you have to give your rights up. Committee member Richard Cole suggested setting a maximum number of guest passes that can be issued to one person or a couple. Carrie Duckett, Deputy District Manager, said the guest passes should be handled as a separate issue and not part of the review. She said the use of guest passes was last considered by a committee nearly 20 years ago. Are guest passes being abused in the villages? Do you know that for sure? If you do, leave it in your comments below. A villager was airlifted to an area trauma center after he was knocked from a golf cart in a collision with a car. That trauma center will be up in Ocala. We don't have one. The 82-year-old village of Hadley man was driving a 2012 Yamaha golf cart at 2:11 p.m. Tuesday south of Odell Circle when he attempted to make a left turn onto Dunkirk Trail in the village of Hadley. He turned directly into the path of 64-year-old man from Continental Country Club in Wildwood, who was driving a gray 2012 Nissan Rogue utility vehicle, which was northbound on Odell Circle. He was unable to take evasive action when the golf cart turned in front of him. Continental Country Club is almost across the street from the villages where Brownwood is. If you go left a little bit, keep looking to the right, and you'll see the sign that says Continental. If you're on Morris Boulevard, further south, look to the right, you'll see a fence with house roofs on top of it inside that fence. That's Continental Club also. It's a pretty good size area. Two vehicles collided and the golf cart driver was knocked into the pavement. The cart overturned. The village of Hadley man was airlifted to Ocala Regional Medical Center. He was ticketed for failure to yield. The other driver was not injured. Yes, Ocala is where you go where the trauma center is. And may I say, if I can, that hospital up there, we've been to it, Sue's had surgery there, we've been to it 3 times. That hospital, if for no other reason, that hospital is a real good reason to be in on top of the world because it's just down the road. Here's some more updates about the bankruptcy situation with the Village's Health. A court document has disclosed the sale price of the Village's Health. Humana's CenterWell is prepared to pay $68 million for the Village's Health, which serves 55,000 patients. The $68 million would appear to be a fire sale price, considering the Village's Health had gross income of well over $400 million last year. The long-standing rule of thumb when selling a business is finding a buyer who is willing to pay 3 times the annual revenue of a business. Up until the bankruptcy, the Village's Health had been a profit center for the Morse family. United Healthcare, the Village's Health longtime Medicare Advantage partner, has accused the Village's Health of dispersing approximately $183 million to the Morse family between 2022 and 2024 to pay down a line of credit, a move that followed the system's sudden bankruptcy filing in July. The bankruptcy was triggered by a mysterious $360 million Medicare coding error. In addition, the Morse family was making upwards of $10 million per year by leasing the specialty care centers located throughout
Florida's friendliest hometown
to the Village's Health. As part of the sale to Humana's CenterWell, the Villages will retain the ownership of the special care centers and presumably continue to lease them to Humana. Finally, the sales contract calls for a non-competition agreement that would prevent Mark Morse, Jennifer Parr, Tracy Morse, Matthews Didia from attempting to re-enter the healthcare services business here. The non-compete also includes Elliot Sussman, who was the driving force behind the concept of the Village's Health's Marcus Welby, MD, return to patient-centered care, and Bobby Trin, who was serving as the Village's Health's CEO at the time of the bankruptcy. Trin was paid $200,000 retention bonus the day before the letter of the Village's Health patients announced the bankruptcy. My only comment about this is, God, what do I know about how all these large businesses like this work? But there's just something that doesn't smell right. Air codes, Medicare, 3 years goes by, $300-some million before somebody actually catches on. The guy gets a bonus the day before bankruptcy. I don't know. Something's wrong. I'm just wondering how much of this money is the residents of the Villages somehow, some way going to end up paying. Just have to keep an eye on it. Seacoast National Bank has won regulatory approval for the acquisition of Citizens First Bank. Citizens First Bank was owned by the developer and his families, and they have sold it. A few months ago, they announced that they were selling it. Our Seacoast National Bank said they were interested in buying it, but it has to be approved. You have to go through all kinds of crap, and this is the announcement that it has been approved. Seacoast Banking Corporation of Florida, the holding company for Seacoast National Bank, announced Friday that the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve System and the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency has approved Seacoast applications with respect to Seacoast's previously announced acquisition of Villages Bancorporation Incorporated and Seacoast Bank's purchase of Citizens First Bank. Seacoast Banking Corporation of Florida, the holding company of Seacoast National Bank, announced Friday that the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve System and the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency have approved Seacoast's application with respect to Seacoast's previously announced acquisition of Villages Bancorporation Incorporated and Seacoast Bank's purchase of Citizens First Bank. All required regulatory approvals to complete the transaction has now been received, and the transaction is expected to close on or around October 1, subject to the satisfaction of customer closing conditions, including approval of the shareholders of the Villages Bancorporations Incorporated. Well, that there is just all kind of rhetoric. Let me tell you a little bit I know about something about shareholders. The owners of this corporation is the majority shareholder. The news of Seacoast's purchase of the Village's bank announced earlier this year surprised many customers of the Morse family-owned bank, which has been a cornerstone of
Florida's friendliest hometown
for more than 3 decades. Seacoast is paying $710.8 million to purchase Citizens First Bank. Seacoast officials have indicated that the future growth of the Villages, combined with Citizens First Bank's stellar reputation, made it a perfect fit. Seacoast, which dates back to 1926 in Stewart and survived the hardscrabble days of the Depression, found the people of Citizens First Bank shared the same set values. The Villages is spending $50.4 million to develop and expand Middleton Downtown Community Development District near the intersection of Central Parkway and Landstone Boulevard. Wildwood commissioners voted Monday night to allow the district to add 3.6 acres for a total of 64.7 acres. The Middleton Downtown development is in addition to the Eastport commercial area several miles away. By the end of the year, the Villages is scheduled to spend the money on infrastructure for the Middleton district, expected to include 350,000 square feet of commercial development. Expenditures includes $26.9 million for parking areas, $12.5 million for landscaping, $6.9 million for earthwork and stormwater collection, and $4.1 million for roadways. Roads, landscaping, and drainage will be maintained by the Community Development District, while the landowner will maintain utilities. The development may include residential units and other mixed uses, according to the statement of the estimated costs. Infrastructure improves may be funded with long-term bond financing, and property owners may be assessed for the cost. The expansion of the district is likely to increase economic growth, job creation, employment, private sector investment, and business competitiveness, the statement asserted. That all is true: jobs, improvements, growth. But I still got to tell you, I get emails once in a while from people, I guess, watch my channel. I don't know the people's names, but I do appreciate them emailing me and contacting me. Some leave comments below certain videos. They are totally unhappy with the Villages and the growth going on around here. And the lifestyle that once was here is now gone, is moving into other sectors, and they're unhappy. And I've tried to reiterate it a lot. Listen, it's not us. They keep saying, wish the Northerners would go back north. We're not doing this. There's a house for sale. We simply look, there's a house, I like it, I'm going to buy it. We buy houses. That's what we do. We don't develop any of this. We have nothing to do with any of this. And you keep talking about the developer this, developer that. The truth is, he has an idea of developing. He buys the land. He has an agreement with certain farmers or whatever, or corporations, to buy this 10,000 acres over here at a future date for this price right here, and I get first refusal rights. So they have that agreement locked in. Then they have a designer that comes up with this plan that they work with. How many homes per acre? What's going to be the average square footage on these homes? What's going to be the roads? All is drawn up on plans. That is taken to Wildwood Commission. They look at this plan and they vote for this plan, agree, disagree. This has got to be changed. We got to move that over to here. But those things can be tweaked later on down the road, actually. So your argument isn't with the developer, truthfully. It isn't with anybody that bought a house here, truthfully. I'm speaking to the old Florida people that really hate the Villages and what we stand for. And I'm not sure what we stand for, truthfully. Your argument is with the people that you have elected, Sumter County Commissioners. Those are the ones that's approving the plans. The zoning boards, the mayor. Those are the people that's approving all of this. And all they really care about is tax dollars. That's it. That's all they really care about. And the growth of the town usually means tax dollars. Now, the growth's going to happen no matter what, because a lot of northern people moving down here because of a lot of reasons, politics, cold winter weather, so on and so forth. But your argument is not with us. We just buy houses. That's it. Your argument is with the people that you elected. Vote them out. Go to the meetings, jump up and down on their desk, raise hell, go to the mayor. He's in there, even though he keeps very quiet. He stays way back behind the scenes. You very seldom ever hear him talk. That's who you want to go bitch at. Those people. They're the ones causing this. A complaint about an unimproved fence led to the complaint about an unapproved patio for the owners of a home at 507 St. Andrews Boulevard on the historic side of the Villages. Special Magistrate Terry Neal Monday gave homeowners John Dowd, Geisel Gangier 45 days to gain Architectural Review Committee approval for the patio. A complaint was received June 3rd about the fence and patio after an inspection letter were sent to the owners. Most of the fence was taken down after the Architectural Review Committee denied an application on August 6th because it was higher than the permitted 4 feet. The owner could face a fine without ARC approval for the patio. The other option is to tear out the concrete patio. And they're not kidding. They'll make you tear it out. And then you apply for the permission, and then they may approve it so you can pay money out of your pocket once again to put the patio back in. This is why I keep telling you, don't play games with the ARC. It looks like a slab is in an appropriate location, said Shannon Boyd of Community Standards. Neighbor William Moyes told Neal that the owners are snowbirds and that he helped them install and remove the fence. He said the patio was put in long before Dade and Gangier bought the property. Once again, it makes no difference. Out of compliance is out of compliance. And how many times have you heard me say, once you put your name on that dotted line, anything that's wrong with that property now belongs to you. That slab has always been there. Boyd said there is no record that it ever received ARC approval. And that's the bottom line. You don't have to agree with it. But if you're going to buy here, just know this is the way it works. A villager turned herself in after she was caught on camera in a shoplifting case. Jody Lynn Edelbrock, 60, of the village of Dabney, went to the KB Home and Garden store at Magnolia Plaza at about 11 a.m. Friday, according to the Rush Department and the Wildwood Police Department. Edelbrock selected a candle that looked like a Christmas tree and put it in a bag she was carrying. The candle was valued at $69.99. She proceeded to the checkout register and paid for an item valued at $18.18. She used a credit card to make the purchase. She made no attempt to pay for the candle. The incident was caught on surveillance and the footage was shown to police. An officer was able to access the contact information from Edelbrock's credit card. The officer called Edelbrock on Saturday and she agreed to surrender herself at the Wildwood Police Department. She is facing misdemeanor charges of theft. She was booked at the Sumter County Detention Center and released after posting a $150 bond. Now, I'm sure there's more to this than what meets the eye here. They seen things that we didn't see, the video and stuff, of course. And she turned herself in, so I can only assume she knew she was guilty. But I can tell you, this is a fact. I know a lot of women that go around a store, they got a bag from who knows where. From one store, they just walk around the store to store, and they buy a little something here, a little something there, and they got these bags. And they'll go through a store and they'll decide, I think I'll buy that. They don't have a cart. And they'll take something and put it in a bag, and I'll pay for that before I leave. They forget. They don't intentionally steal it. They forget. Next thing you know is a buzzer goes off that detected something, or somebody stops them because they got them on video or whatever, and you can get arrested for it. So listen, if you're one of them that do that, and if you're forgetful, I would suggest leave the bags in the car. Don't take them with you. Here's a delightful treat. A Twisty Treat ice cream store may be opening soon at the Pinellas Plaza along County Road 466A. Special Magistrate Lindsay C.T. Holt recommended approval of a site plan for the restaurant at a meeting Tuesday at the Wildwood Planning and Zoning Board. See? Wildwood Planning and Zoning Board. That's where your argument is. The city commissioners could take up the site plan later this month. The city commissioners, otherwise known as the Wildwood commissioners, can take up the site plan this month. Just reiterating that for the people out there that keep blaming us for all their problems around here. It calls for a 583 square foot store featuring outdoor patio tables, a bench, a drive-through lane, 17 parking spaces on about a half an acre. My immediate reaction to this is 17 parking spaces. Not near enough. The store will be located among the banks and gas stations on the north side of Bernst Boulevard, a little more than 3/4 of a mile west of Pinellas Place. Company President Brian Silverman announced in May that the store was coming to the Villages. The closest Twisty Treat may be in Tavares. Its buildings are shaped like a 25-foot tall soft-served ice cream cone. With its current headquarters in Orlando, Twisty Treat was founded 42 years ago in North Fort Myers. After opening 23 Florida locations in the early 1980s, the company went bankrupt and stores were turned over to the franchise holders. Twisty Treat USA LLC acquired the patents and company rights in 2010, and all new stores are corporately owned. Specialties include the Brownie Boat Cupcake, Cookie Witch, and Waffle Tacos. Besides cones and cups, Twisty Treat also offers twirls, slushies, freezes, shakes, malts, and sprinkle-covered sundaes. Okay. None of that sounded decent to me for an ice cream place, but hey, I haven't never been to one. I have seen them in Orlando when we were down there. I've never been to one, so I can't speak for it. Is it ice cream? Is it frozen custard? Doesn't really say. So, we'll see. A golf cart driver headed down the grocery store aisle during a shopping trip in the Villages. Yes, it happens. The golf cart made it through the front door of the Winn-Dixie at La Plaza Grande, that's up by Spanish Springs, and was headed for the produce section before some quick-thinking store employees ordered him to halt. The Winn-Dixie ladies did their best to help the obviously confused driver back out of the store. The entire incident was captured on video, and I do have video, and watch this at the end of this report. You can watch the video. But before you watch the video, because that's the end of the report, let me just say something about that. I generally don't make fun of these situations. I know it looks a little ridiculous. I only bring them up for one reason. It's about safety concerns. If you don't live here or if you just moved here, these are the things that are a safety concern. Now, in this situation, I know he shouldn't be in there. He's got a gas golf cart because you can hear it run. So he definitely should not be in this store. But I've talked about it before, how I've seen people argue with people in buildings here that they have a right to drive their golf cart in a store. You know, I don't know where they get that. But when you see this, my concern about safety is this same person that drives his golf cart in the grocery store, he probably has a car. And he doesn't drive his golf cart everywhere. He gets lost probably. This is the guy that you'll see on Highway 466 or somewhere driving around when they're not drunk. Or this is a normal guy that's just lost, but he lives there. You know, dementia, it's here. Alzheimer's is all around us, or even the beginning parts of it. It's all around us. This is the guy that'll get in his car sometime and thinking he's going to go to a restaurant in Brownwood because he's from the Spanish Springs area. I'm going to go to Brownwood. I'm going to check out this new restaurant. I think I'll take my car. And he gets this car. This is the guy that gets in roundabouts and things and gets lost. He'll make a left turn in a roundabout, which is, you just don't do that. We all know what we can and can't do, but when you got dementia and Alzheimer's, your judgments are way off. Sometimes you just don't even know. So that's my safety concern, is that this guy in a golf cart inside a store probably drives a car. Just be aware when you go around here. I'm always saying that at the end of my videos. Be aware.
Watch out, please. Back straight. Straight. I would be careful. Yeah, I know. Keep going. I go a little bit further. A little bit further. You're not gonna make this turn. Right there. Turn your wheel. No, the other way. This way. Keep turning.
We gotta go forward now.
Go forward slow.
Change it to forward.
Forward. Yes.
Do you need some help?
Forward.
You need some help pulling out?
Okay, let's do everybody's favorites, letters to the editor. This is the one thing that gets me in more trouble than anything. This is in response, I think, to last week's letter to the editor about golf cart handicap parking. Since then, I've had an update about that because somebody sent me some information. I double-checked it, and his information was correct. And so listen to the whole thing. To the editor, I do not live in the villages or own a golf cart. I live in Bellevue and shop in the villages. I personally do not have a problem with golf carts in parking spaces. We're not talking about parking spaces. We're talking handicap parking spaces. And we're really not talking about that either, truthfully. I reiterated that on last week's news. It's the striped area next to handicap parking spaces. To me, whatever you drive into a parking spot is okay with me. And 2 golf carts in one spot, hey, that keeps a spot available for me and someone else. Yes, in reality, it ties up the space longer. But who cares? Not me. That's just being too picky for me. That's sent in by Barbara Manessi from Bellevue. Well, Barbara, you are correct about some things, and you're totally incorrect about what the argument's about. It's about the striped area in handicap parking spots. That's one of the arguments. Nobody should be parking there, period. I don't care if it's a car. I don't care if it's a golf cart. I don't care if it's a motorcycle. You should not be parking in any of those striped areas. It's strictly against the law. You don't believe me? Call your local police department and ask them and see what they tell you. It's a parking violation. I know that's kind of a minor thing, but it is. And when you're in a retirement community, it can be very critical for somebody that's in a wheelchair to get out of their vehicle because you're in that spot. The other thing is I said that when I come here 10 years ago, that we tried to get a handicap parking sticker for our golf cart because we got a handicap license plate for the car for Sue when we came down here and got the Florida license plates. And they said they didn't have golf cart stickers at that time for handicapped people. Since then, somebody has sent me an email about they moved here like 6 months ago, and when they went up and got their license plate, they asked about it, and they got one. Now, did it cost them any money? I don't know. Did they pay an extra $5 for it? I don't know that either. But they said that Sumter County, and that's the county I'm talking about. I'm not talking about Marion County. I'm not talking about Lake County. You guys do your own due diligence and call and find out. But in Sumter County, he said that they did have handicap golf cart permits, and he got one for his golf cart. So there you go. 10 years ago, they didn't have it. Today, they do. I'm always saying that. Just because I said something 10 years ago doesn't mean it's true today. You have to check. And so, yes, Sumter County does have handicap golf cart permits. I guess you just call over there and see about going and getting one. So I appreciate that, and thanks for that email because that helps other people out tremendously. Here's another one. Letters to the editor. I have asked the question before, and here I go again. Why can't people return their shopping carts at the grocery store? Earlier this year, I found a big ding on the passenger side of my car, and I strongly suspect it came from a shopping cart. I did not notice it right away, but one of the last places I was at was Publix. I see so many shopping carts carelessly left in a parking lot. Store employees cannot gather them up fast enough as shoppers are leaving them out there. Why can't people return their shopping carts? We aren't asking much. That's sent in by Pat Williams from the village of Dunedin. Well, Pat, I agree. I don't know. I see it all the time. You know, these return cart areas and parking lots are scattered all through the parking lot. I've seen people park next to the return place where grocery carts go and still leave it behind the car next to them on the other side. I don't know, man. It's just habit. I think it's just habits that's happened over the decades, way back when, you know, and they've always had parking lot people that picked them up and put them away for you. And so you just got into the habit of just not doing it. So it's just a habit forming thing. I'm not going to condemn people for it so much, but I do put mine back. So excusing people that has handicap issues, like walking or whatever, the average person that don't put them away, I just simply say the reason why they don't is either a habit or they're just lazy, one or the other. That's the only answer I got. But thanks for it. That one was going to get me in trouble. I know it. This one here is probably more relevant than any of the other ones. This is a response to apparently another letter to the editor. I don't read every one of them. I try to read ones I think will be more entertaining or educational. Mr. Baker, you expressed your opinion concerning Charlie Kirk's assassination. I thought your words were hateful, vengeful, and unchristian. Charlie had the same right to free speech that you exercised. Yet, I pray that you live a long, happy life. Even though I disagree with everything you said, I respect your right of free speech. and I have no hate-filled words towards you. You say you are a Christian. Then I ask you to pray for Charlie's widow and 2 babies. By the way, George Floyd was a scumbag. I think everybody agrees to that. He was a career criminal that had no respect for life. That's set in by Lynn Snyder from the Village of Tall Trees. Well, let me say one thing real quick about that assassination. I got this actually from somebody else I was talking to, and I just thought it was a relevant statement that he had made. And it was concerning the generation of today, the young people. Those are the ones you generally see standing in the street, blocking roads, doing all kinds of silly stuff that's against the law, throwing rocks at cop cars, all this kind of silly, nasty stuff. He said, this is the worst generation in our history, dating back to Noah's Ark. I don't know how they would exactly know that, because that's what happened, when God flooded the earth, was to get rid of all of society and start over, because they were all basically disgusting. And I'm looking at it now, and I'm seeing all these, and I know they don't represent everybody, but they represent a whole lot. As a trucker, I drove around a lot, and I've seen the differences from one big city on one side of the country to a big city to the other side of the country. And attitude. It's not just a city, and it's not just Democrat, Republic. It's attitude. I see it everywhere. I got to tell you, I don't know what's happening, but it's got to change. It's got to change. One thing that needs to be stopped, as far as I'm concerned. This is why I don't like doing letters to the editor, because I have a tendency to speak my mind. It gets me in trouble. But here we go again. This idea of women and men just living together and making babies has got to stop. That, to me, is the start of it. Then he leaves, mom's home alone. She's got 3 or 4 kids by 2 or 3 different dads. She has to work, but she can't afford daycare because it is expensive. And I've said, I don't know how people afford to pay for daycare. We couldn't. We had babysitters. That's what they were called. Yeah, and the kids are running on the streets. Mom's got to work. Who's watching the kids? Nobody. You go out at 3 o'clock in the morning in any big city and you'll see gangs of kids running everywhere. Nobody's watching them. We used to have curfew laws. I don't even know if they got them anymore. You go to school and did something wrong, go out in the hall. I'll be out there in a minute. He'd come walking out in the hall with the paddle. Bend over, grab your knees. Yeah. That stuff needs to be brought back as far as I'm concerned. These kids are getting by with too much. This so-called thing of, timeout and all that kind of crap. Well, in some cases, I can see where timeout if a child's young, So don't get crazy with me here. I'm talking about this smart mouth 10, 11, 12, 13-year-old kid that needs to learn the idea of respect fast. And there ain't no faster way than a big smack across the mouth or a big whack across his butt. You're not going to talk that way to your mom. You're not talking that way to me either. Use it with discretion. But we got to do something about this younger generation that has no respect whatsoever. And the idea of them putting out these videos laughing about the fact that he's dead, laughing about the fact that he deserved it. Since when does anybody in this country deserve to be murdered? And that's what it is, it's murder. And if they think that's okay, moms, dads, of all them people that put them videos out, you need to have a serious talk with them. I'll let it go. Thanks for your patience. Okay, how many holes in ones of golf did we get this week? Well, it looks like it wasn't this week, it was last week, but remember my channel was stolen, so I'm behind on some of this stuff. My apologies. Got one. On my round of golf this morning, Friday, August 29th, Rude Fountain, a member of our foursome, had a hole-in-one on hole number 7 at the El Diablo Executive Golf Course. He used a 9-iron. He's from the village of St. Charles. Says, here are some photos you can use. And he sent me 4 or 5 photos. Generally, I just use the one where they're standing by the flag, by the hole, holding a ball or something like that. That seems to be a conceptual type photo that people understand. And by looking at the greens, it looks like they've been doing some work on the greens. Well, good for them. Congratulations on your hole-in-one there, Rude. Enjoy your day. And you know what I always say, beer's on you. Hey, okay, that's going to be it for the news, I think, this week. I don't know how much I've got on here. I don't know if it's a half hour long or whatever it is. YouTube has changed their system again. They're asking for the creators to get away from the 10 or 15-minute videos, which has been popular for most of us all the time. Now they're asking for longer videos because they have decided that there are so many people that watches YouTube on TV that the idea of watching somebody's channel for 10 minutes on TV is unproductive. And if you want your channels to grow, they recommend to start making what they call TV time, length time on your videos. I guess that's a half hour long or longer. I haven't really done too much of that. I've always tried to stray a little bit from that, but I have noticed that, well, my RV channel's gone. I haven't never recovered my RV channel yet. I'm still working on it. But friends of mine that do have channels where they do longer videos, much longer videos. One of them is Traveling Robert. I like to watch him on his channel, and he's everted to that. He has anywhere from an hour to 2 hour long videos now, and for the same reason. People will turn the TV on and sit back on TV and they'll watch it. And the longer they watch it, the better your channel does, and so on and so forth. So I'm working on that. I'm putting it out there for the sponsors that's gotten a hold of me that if you're watching this, I'm not going to do it. Matter of fact, the last 2 or 3 sponsors I got, one of them I was actually seriously considering, but since I got hacked, I threw it out. I just threw it out. It's just not worth it to me. You know, make an extra $50 and go through all that, and I don't think so. So we're not going to do that. From now on, here's how my sponsorships are going to work. You got to be a local person. You got to be somebody that I can call and talk to on the phone. And then the other thing is I want to be able to access you when I can. And truthfully, I'm from the old school. I want to see it, smell it, touch it, and then maybe we'll do it. So if you're local, I'll consider it. If you're from some other country somewhere, forget it. I'm just not going to do it. The other one is at the end of this video, I just want to make a shout out to Jerry and Linda. When I got hacked, I got hacked bad this time, really bad. They stole everything. I mean, stole everything. And out of all the different YouTube channels around here that I've helped and talked to and done all kinds of stuff with, Jerry's the only one that reached out. I take that back. Ira did. He sent me a text saying, hey, I understand you got hacked. He said, is there anything I can do? And I called him. And he said, well, call Christian. He goes, I don't know anything about it, which I knew that. So I did call Christian, but I called knowing that there really ain't nothing nobody's going to be able to do. I've already been in contact with Google. I've already been in contact with YouTube people. We were all working together. I had WrestleMania up north, me here, those 2 guys, and we were all working in conjunction of one another, and I knew what was going on, and I knew there was really nothing anybody could do. But I got to tell you, you know who your friends are when you need something, and everybody disappears, and they all play dumb. So those 2 got a hold of me. Jerry sent me, I think, a text, maybe an email. I don't remember. I think it was a text. He's got my phone number. And saying if I needed anything to help out. Because what I did is I started a new channel because I thought this channel was gone forever. And I was so far down in the dumps, I just almost walked away from the whole thing. Because if you don't have a channel, you don't realize how much work goes on here. Some people get lucky and their channels just blow up for some reason or another. Well, I've never been lucky. I've always had to work hard. For every subscriber, man, I've had to work hard. But he did send me a text saying, hey, if there's anything I can do to help to get your channel going again, get some of your subscribers back, you can come over to my house. And he said, I'll go live with you and we'll see about getting you some of your subscribers back. Because basically most of us around here, whatever subscribers one has, the other one's got that subscriber. The larger channels probably have some that the rest of us don't. But my point is, Jerry called or got a hold of me. Ira got a hold of me. And any of you have been following me for a while and you know my history here and what we've done in the past and so on and so forth. There's some things on there on my channel you don't see because I made them private. You know what I've done to help people out, and everything I've done has been open. I've never lied. I've never tried to screw anybody. I don't ask for money or anything. The super chats is something that people give you out of their hearts. I never ask for them, except during the Children's Wish Foundation. I will guilt you into giving money for the Children's Wish Foundation, which we don't do that anymore, but we did. And hey, it all went to the kids. How can you argue about that? So they did. I want to give them a shout out. Appreciate it. Just knowing that they were willing to help means a lot. Just knowing that Ira wanted to help or could help or Christian tried to help means a lot. The rest of them, don't even call me. None of these people need to ask me for anything ever again. We're done. Is that going to cost me subscribers? Totally up to you. And if you want to, have a great day. I got no problem with it. With that being said, I'm going to get out of here. Be well, stay safe, stay alert, be aware. You hear me? Be aware.
And don't leave a key in that dog cart.
This week's news is brought to you by my YouTube and Patreon members.